Good morning. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Sandy. It's Friday. Yay. I'm still kind of waking up, which is why I chose this mug this morning. It's funny, I didn't actually get up during the night, but I know that my hip was bothering me and my head was bothering me. It was like an old person night. That's what I call it when you have aches and pains during your sleep. Good morning, sunshine from the waiting room. That's you. Oh, she's here already. I love when that happens. It's like bam, 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 you're here just in seconds. Good morning, Ginny. Good morning, everybody. Oh, look, we're filling up the it's not like the waiting room. It's like we're filling up the living room, Got your coffee cup? Let's bring it. Oh, so I'm going to start with the Fritzy report because it was so cute yesterday. I was asking, well, first, again, for those of you who haven't been following this for, a year already, when my 97-year-old mother was supposed to be dying any day, she had COVID, she had pulmonary embolisms, she had everything and beat it all. I mean, she's just so healthy, but she has kind of lost it. She doesn't really know who I am anymore, but she knows that I'm somebody special in her life, and she knows I'm Sandy, but she doesn't. Every time I tell her I'm her daughter, that she's my mama and she gave birth to me, she gets all excited all over again. The joy of being with someone who is happily demented, or at least not angry, is that I can tell her the same stories every single day. It's like Groundhog's Day, and I know her reaction is going to be pretty much the same. She's going to be delighted, and she is. So once again, we talked about the fact that in just a couple of weeks, she's going to be 98 years old, which, by the way, she never believes me when I tell her. When we look at pictures, which we do almost every day, and we look at photographs, she sees photos of herself today and has no idea who they are because she knows she can't be that old lady, right? And totally recognizes everything from when she was from when she was a child, when she was a teenager, those things. She at least recognizes that it's her. Although she may not necessarily recognize what's going on. It's so interesting to me what she remembers and what she doesn't remember. And so much fun to tell her about the forthcoming wedding of my son and his fiance, Katie, just in a few weeks, right before her birthday, that they're actually doing a mock wedding. She doesn't know it's a mock wedding. To her, it's a wedding that we're going to have. At the home where she is, so that she can be there and Michael can dance with his grandma at his wedding. It's so cute. It's so sweet. So yesterday I asked her, Mama, the wedding is coming. Yes, we're having a wedding right here. Your grandson Michael and his fiance Katie are getting married right here, so you can be here at the wedding. I mean, she gets this seriously, I just looked at myself when I did that. It looks exactly like the way she looked. She gets so happy. And then I tell her that she's going to have flowers and a beautiful dress on, and we'll do her hair and her fingernails. Not really makeup, because she was never a makeup person, but I told her we'd put some lipstick on her. Anyway, she's very excited all over again. And I said, they're going to want advice. Do you have some advice? She said, I don't know. I said, yeah, you must know. You must know what made you and your love, Lenny, stay married for 62 years. And she told me they have to like each other. And I said, what about going to bed angry? And she looked at me and she said, oh, don't go to bed angry. Don't be angry. And I thought, yeah, that's impossible. No, I didn't. But that was her advice. Don't go to bed angry. But that was with a little prompting. The most important thing she could think of was that you have to like each other. And I'm going to go with beyond loving each other, which is easy. I love a lot of people, but I don't necessarily like all the people I love. Kind of like Game of Thrones, which I watched the conclusion of yesterday, and I was quite surprised that even though I've seen it before, I forgot. It was all new to me. But there were so many people in Game of Thrones who loved each other but didn't like each other. Yeah, sad. Okay, today's color TV day. Do you remember when you got your first color TV? Oh my gosh, I do. I remember when we got our first TV. It was when I lived in Skokie and I was a little kid. I remember my dad was like what would have then been called a technophile. He was always working with computers. We didn't have personal computers back then. He worked on that, I want to call it the Univac machine, that great big whole room full of stuff. He worked on that kind of stuff and little parts and things like that he would bring home and show us, and secret projects, and the world's first little tiny record player. It was like, seriously, it was like this big, and the records were this big, right? Because it was 78s and 33s, but the little record player was like this, and you'd put it, oh, so cute. And we got to play with it because that's what our dad did. And he brought home the first transistor radio. Oh my God, do you remember your transistor radio? It's like you couldn't be without it. And when they came out with the plastic ones in bright colors, you'd take them to the beach with you. And here's to the transistor radio. You know what? You can have your iPods and you can have your cell phones and your earphones, and the joy of getting your first transistor radio. I remember back in Skokie being sound asleep and having my little brother, who was then maybe, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years old, coming in and shaking me awake. And when I kind of got conscious, he looked at me and he said to me, "Sandy, when you die, can I have your transistor radio?" So we joke about that all the time. I tell him I'm not ready. If I'm sick, he'll say, "How are you?" And I'll say, "Not ready to send you my transistor radio." And that's our clue that everything's going to be okay. You were 17 before you had color TV? I don't remember how old I was, Opa. I know I was young, and I know it was fascinating, and that's all. That's all. But I also remember what a treat it was when we got to watch TV at dinner time and use a TV tray and have a TV dinner. That was like, whew, that was like the biggest holiday in my house, because my mother didn't approve of those things, and neither did my dad. But that might have been black and white back then, and maybe the color TV happened when we were already living in California. I don't remember. It's International Rosé Day, but they're talking about wine, by the way, not roses. It's Rosé Day, not Rose Day. When I was up in wine country just on this last trip, I tasted a Pinot Noir rosé. Blew me away. It was so delicious. It was like the perfect summer wine because it was my Pinot, but it was very light and very cooling. Yeah. Pinot Rosé. Look for a Pinot Rosé. It was pretty cool. It's take your dog to work day. I like to joke and say, I take my dog to work every day. Yeah, because Bailey just hangs out with me here. This is my work. This is what I do for a living. Oh, yeah. I don't get money, but it's worth living for. Totally. Totally. Speaking of which, we're talking about doing something to commemorate when we have 1,000 people on What Do I Say, What Do I Do, which I think needs a new name. But that's the Facebook group. And we're getting really close. We're getting really close. I mean, I think we're like, I don't know, 15 people away from 1,000. And we need to do something to commemorate all those people who are behind this positive, inspirational kind of, let's make this world a better place kind of life. Somebody suggested doing a commemorative mug. And I said, yeah, but they're so expensive to ship. So we're working on something. I'm not sure what yet, but I'm going to come up with some commemorative word art that will be on something that you're going to want. Right. And that will, like help support my habit of being here every morning. Oh, okay. All right. Now, this is important. In 1498, that's a lot of years ago. In 1498, in China, someone finally invented the toothbrush. Yes, the toothbrush. Can I tell you how much I love my toothbrush? I have, and for years, I've had an electric toothbrush, but there is something about just moving that brush around in your mouth instead of just standing there and letting the brush do all the work. I love my toothbrush. I love brushing my teeth. Look, ma, no cavities. My teeth, strong, healthy teeth. We used to have toothbrushing parties in my house. Is that like weird? Yeah, okay. It's a little weird, but it's cool. And it made my kids grow up loving to brush their teeth and take care of their teeth. When my kids were little, we would have these little parties. Everybody would get their toothbrush and their toothpaste, and we'd wet them and dance around the house. And it was so cool that when Max was born, his mama did toothbrush parties with him, still does. So do I. When he comes here, we get our toothbrushes, we get ready, and we literally march all over the house, brushing our teeth and following each other, taking turns. Toothbrush party. And frequently his mom and dad will join in too. And we'll all just run around brushing our teeth and laughing. Makes toothbrushing so special. I love toothbrush parties. You're supposed to eat at a food truck today. Oh, it's Mitch Lane Day. This was like so cool. Mitch Lane was this kid. And we celebrate it on 6/25. That's today. Because he solved a Rubik's Cube, like did the whole Rubik's Cube twisting, turning thing in 6.25 seconds. Excuse me? Seriously? Yes. He, as far as I know, is the record holder. Mitch Lane. A kid, not an adult. 6.25 seconds. I can't do it in 6.25 years. Have you ever solved a Rubik's Cube? I haven't. I haven't done it. I'm sorry. Hello, Mitch. We'll drink to you. Happy what day? Happy Leon Day, 6 months till Christmas? Why is it called Leon Day? Who's Leon? And what's the OG group? Am I being stupid because it's morning? Opa also thinks the OG group should be commemorated. Is it Opa Girls? Opa Gang? What is that? What is OG? What is it? Come on, you can tell me. Okay, so 1498 was the toothbrush, and 1630 was the fork. We didn't have forks until 1630. A lot of people ate with their hands. A lot of people thought the fork was a nasty tool. Yeah, like I think it reminded them of maybe the devil's pitchfork or something. The OG is the original gang. I guess that would be those of us who actually communicate in the morning. I know there's more than, like a handful of us here, but yeah. Original gangsters. That'd be us. Yeah, baby. Oh, Leon is Noel backwards. I get it. Thanks, Indy. I didn't get that. Speaking of backwards, my name is Idnis when you spell it backwards. What's your name backwards? Nor. Ron is Nor. Yeah. Come on, what's your name backwards? You can do this. Hapo. Opa is Hapo. Ginny is Inig. Yeah. Backwards names were. Do you remember when you were a kid and that was like your thing? Everybody went by their backwards name. I think that was fun. because I always thought Idnis was a funny name. Okay, so happy birthday to George Orwell, who wrote 1984. And interestingly, in 1984, when it actually happened, that's when Prince first released his Purple Rain album. Cosmic, eh? Yes. 1984, look at the future. And then in 1980, can I start that part over? Okay, because I was so excited to tell you that. Happy birthday to George Orwell, who wrote the book 1984, was this shocking look at what the future was going to bring. Do you remember reading it as a kid? And it was like, no way, right? I need to reread it now because I have a feeling it would be completely different. But when 1984 finally came, what happened was Prince released Purple Rain. Yeah, that was his look at the future, I guess. Okay, so much for that. It was in my head. It was like such a brilliant thing to say. 1876 today was Custer's last stand. And coincidentally, on this very day in 2009, both the lovely Farrah Fawcett and the lovely Michael Jackson both died. So we say goodbye to two pop people. One of Charlie's Angels and one the king of pop today in 2009. This was also the start of the Korean War. I think it's really cool that a friend of mine, Steve, fought in the Korean War. And on the anniversary, I guess it was the 50th anniversary of the Korean War, the South Korean government paid to have U.S. soldiers. All you had to do was say, yeah, I was there. Paid to have U.S. soldiers brought to Korea, to South Korea, to commemorate the end of the war and the effort that the Americans made to support the Koreans. So my friends Steve and Marilyn were brought over to South Korea by the government. And they said they were treated royally. There were hundreds of other ex-GIs over there. They said it was just an amazing experience to be there after the fact, when there was no fighting and they could just be tourists and be honored and thanked for their contributions. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. And in 1978, it was the first use of the rainbow flag as a symbol for gay pride. And that really took off, didn't it? 78, 88, 98, 108. That's been quite a while. Yeah. Somewhere over the rainbow, it's all happening. Okay, we're going to keep it short today, but I can't skip the word art for today because it was way too important to me, and I know to you, because it's about cookies. Because there isn't much in life that can't be made way, way, way better by freshly baked, right out of the oven, warm, luscious cookies. So the question for today, and go on, what do I say, what do I do, and add your cookies worth. What's your favorite cookie? Do you like crispy and crunchy, or do you like soft and chewy? You know, there are all kinds of cookies. What's your favorite cookie? You can list more than one. I mean, pecan sandies are my probably all-time favorite because of history. But in terms of eating them, I've got so many favorites. So many favorites. Oh my goodness. We're getting a few up here right now. All right, my friends. Go out there and hit this weekend with all you got. Make it a great one. Oh, for some of you, it doesn't start until later this afternoon. For me, it's starting right now, baby. I'm going to go get ready for tennis, and then I'm going to make it a party day. We're going out tonight. We're going to go have some fun. Yeah. Okay. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Happy Friday. Yes. Bye-bye. Oh, wait. My starter fluid worked. Have a sip and a smile. Bailey's in here squeaking his toy. Can you hear him? I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.